Oh, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. It's nice having you here tonight. Can you hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me. Thank you. Can you hear me? Good evening. You're welcome to tonight's program. Good evening. Clearly. Okay. Thank you. How is everyone doing? How is your day going so far? Because the day is not over yet. There are still some people that will receive their miracle tonight. That is it. So, today is not over yet. Happy new month, the month of February. We thank God. Now. Just like yesterday, that we entered 2024. Right now, we are already in February. We thank God for His grace. We thank God for His mercy. Good evening, everybody. You're welcome. Thank you. Please, yes, sir, Babavi, Ekalesa. Thank you so very much, sir. Yes, sir. I will get in touch after the program, sir. Yes. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I really appreciate you for coming tonight. Sorry. Okay, so thank you, everybody. So tonight, this program is always been brought to you by Thoughtful Events. Thoughtful Events, I told you we have two groups now. We have 1 and 2. The second one, people are not on it already, so we can't start what we want to do on it. So we have started anyway, but I'm not going to go deep yet because I want as many people as we can have on the program. If all of us on this one can migrate to that, not really migrate, like join that one also, so that we can be the two groups, so that you won't miss out here or miss out on the other end. So thank you very much for joining. Oluabi is my name, or Abid Busi, depending on which page you're watching from. Please try to share with as many people as you can. Start sharing. Tonight we are having a very crucial topic that people, especially we Africans, we Nigerians, we shy away from it. We don't like doing or talking about it or even asking questions about it. But tonight we are bringing it. We have to ask questions, and that's why we have brought someone very close to the topic. I mean, someone that can give us an hint, someone that can enlighten us, that can broaden our knowledge on it. So that's why we are bringing her in. Some of you know my client. Some of you know my guest tonight, and some don't. So as we go on, you shall know her better, and you know who exactly we are talking about. So Thursdays 8:30 p.m. we are always here by God's grace, and Mondays at 7 p.m. we have our online market squad where we advertise whatever businesses we are doing. And then also we talk about some things. We have a corner where we call Reality Corner. We bring people to talk about their experiences, and we can even read, if people send us messages like their experience, then we can deliberate on it. Or we can even raise common topics, things that are happening in our society as of today. So that is it for Mondays. So today, You're welcome. Thank you so very much. Our guest is already asking me to bring her in. So I'm about bringing her in, and I'm coming. So. I'm coming. Okay. I'm bringing her. I'm waiting for her to accept. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, thank God for that. Thank God. Hello. Good evening.
Hello, ma. Good evening, ma.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thanks for honoring the call. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate you. We all appreciate you. Everybody's saying thank you.
Welcome.
Yes.
Good
Uh,
evening, everyone. Good evening, ma.
you said what?
I said good evening, ma. Good evening, everyone.
Okay. She's saying good evening to everybody. Here is our guest. Please share with so many people. Let them know we are online. Please share. Start sharing, please. Start sharing. Thank you. Start sharing. Let me not take too much of your time. I just want to appreciate people that have come online and people that are yet to come. Um, please do come. We are waiting for you. Tell your people we are online. Tell them to join right now. We are on. So we are waiting for them. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Um, my guest, can you please tell us your name and what you do? Thank you.
Okay, my name is Damilola Rotimi, and I'm a legal practitioner by profession.
Thank you so very much. Can you tell us your line of practice?
Okay, I deal majorly with property law, property corporate, and litigation.
Okay. Thank you so very much. So I
Welcome.
decided to ask you so that people will know that indeed we are talking with a lawyer. Ẹ ṣọ́ra yín, ẹ má fojú dí o, ẹ má jò ṣáàjì yín o. So thank you so very much for honoring this call. Thank you very much. So tonight we are talking about will and trust. We all know about will, we have heard about it. So many people don't know about trust anyway. I would not lie to you, it was when I got to the US that I knew about trust. I never knew what get trust. I believe the normal common trust, we mo trust there, mo gbà ẹ́ gbọ́. That's the only thing I know. So it was when I got here, I knew that there's something called trust, which is different from the common trust we know about. So can you please tell us what is will?
A will is a legal document that directs who will receive your assets or property at the time of your death.
Hmm.
That is a will.
Okay.
Who do you want?
Um,
Who are those that you want to benefit from your assets and properties after your demise when you are no more? That's what a will means.
hmm. So she's telling us that whether we like it or not, we are sojourner here, we are still going to go. So on the
And then,
time, or maybe as at the time we leave, and all those things we have acquired, all those things we have gathered, like properties and stuff, who do you want us to benefit from them? You know, um, you have people around you, you have children, you have wives, husbands, family members, some not even family members. Who do you want to entrust all those things and into their hands? That is strictly what will is talking about. So what can you tell us? What is trust?
okay, trust is a legal arrangement whereby a trustee, that is someone you select as your own trustee to hold your property, to manage your property on behalf of another party who is a beneficiary.
Can you
The
explain?
difference between
Okay.
okay, I said it's a legal arrangement whereby a trustee, that is someone that manages, that you give a right to someone to manage your property or your assets on behalf of your beneficiary. That person is to hold the property on behalf of the beneficiary. Is the one to it might be a person and it might also be a company. It might be an entity or a person. You know, do you
Mm.
understand?
So, what can you now say are the differences between a will and a trust?
Okay. The difference between a will and a trust is that in a will is actually meant to be is meant to be for after the demise of the testator, that is the owner of the person writing the will, the owner of the asset. But the trust, in the other hand, trust is, like I said, is a legal arrangement whereby I want to give my property to someone. I want someone to be a beneficiary to my property. It might be during my lifetime. It's not necessary until I die before I transfer such property to such a person.
Mm.
So that's the difference between the two. A will can only be effective after the demise of the testator, but a trust can be effective immediately you transfer the property to the trustee, to the person you want to hold it in trust for the beneficiary.
Okay. So why do we need a trustee? Why do we need a trustee? In what senses? What are the reasons that occurs that make you to put your property in care of somebody to manage while manage for whoever the beneficiaries are?
The major reason for having a trustee, or even in under will too, we do have executors too. Under will we have executors, and under trust we have trustees who hold the trust property on
Mm.
behalf of the beneficiaries. That's the is a two-way thing. So it's, in both places it exists. You have an executor under will, and you have a trustee under trust. That trustee is to stand in gap. Is to stand in gap in between the testator, that is the owner of the will, the owner of the will when we are talking about will. But when we are talking about trust, the trustee is standing in the gap between the grantor or settlor. We call the person making the will, and the person making a trust is called a settlor or a grantor under trust. While under will, the person making the will is called a testator.
Mm. It's called a spectator.
A testator,
Spectator.
testator, testator.
I thought you said spectator. Olùwòran.
No, testator, no, testator. As
Okay.
in Testor, testator.
Okay. Okay. Thank
The
you, my
main
friend.
reason why we have to have someone to hold the properties in charge is just for that person to manage those properties on behalf of the beneficiary. For instance, the beneficiary might be a minor,
Good.
you might need a guardian for that property. So a minor cannot manage the property at all until the person attains the age of majority. So that's why we do have trustees under trust, and we do have executors under will to manage the property.
Okay. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Um,
Mhm.
so what she's trying to tell us that a trustee can happen. I mean, you can have a trustee when you have minor children and the children are not up to legal age yet. And so they don't know the right from left. So rather than giving it to them to mismanage or, just to mess it up, or for some adults to just write them off it. So they put it in care of somebody pending the time the children are maybe still in school or they are still young, until the time they are of age to collect it back from them. And that is it. That is the reason why we need a trustee. Okay, ma'am. So I will now go back again to will. Who is supposed to write a will? Is it a particular gender? Ṣọ́kùnrin ló yẹ kó kọ ni? Ṣóbìnrin ni? Children, adults. Who is supposed to write a will?
Okay, anybody, any sex, any gender can write a will, whether male or female can write a will. But before a person can attain the age of writing a will, that person must have attained the age of majority. In some parts of the world, like Nigeria, it's 21 years. The person must have attained the age of 21 years, and in some other countries, it's 18 years. Even in Nigeria, under with laws of Lagos State, it permits 18 years and above to write a will.
Hmm. 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 So
So
it
once
permits 18 years
it
to write
depends
a
on
will.
it. Yes, 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 yes. So but under the Wills Act is 21 years and above.
Okay.
You can write a will.
So when a will is done, can that person just write it, or you have to involve a lawyer?
Well, you can write a will personally. Someone can write a will. One major thing about a will is that it must be in writing. It cannot be an oral statement. It
What
cannot
about
be an
people that
oral
are
statement.
doing video, or like video, they record it so that they will show people that I'm not under duress, I know what I'm talking about, I'm the one that made this will.
Yes, it's also effective and also valid, but majorly a will must be in writing because the testator has to append the signature. Even if he cannot sign, he should be able to give a mark, at least to show that okay, I know what I'm doing. And before a will can be valid, it has to be it has to be written. The signature of the testator must be appended. Then there must be witnesses to the will. There must be two or more witnesses at most. The maximum of witnesses that must be present while attesting to the will must be like the maximum of four people. You have minimum
4 people,
of two. Yes,
minimum
minimum of
of
two and
2,
maximum of four
maximum of 4.
must attest
Okay,
to it,
I'm
and
hearing
must
that one
attest
for
to
the
it.
first time. Oh. So who do we now call when a father wants to write a will? Ṣáwọn ìyàwó ẹ̀ náà ló máa pè when you have multiple wives or family members, or who are the people you are supposed to call to
Yeah,
witness?
the person you have to call is to call your legal practitioner, yeah, like a lawyer, to prepare your will on your behalf. So you
Okay.
have to
Then the
give the
witnesses,
instruction. Yes, you have to give instruction to the lawyer. If the lawyer is to prepare the will, you have to give instruction that okay, so property I want to give it to maybe my first wife, my second wife, my first son, my daughter. So that's how they distribute the wills. The will
okay,
is distributed, sorry.
okay.
So
Um,
the attestation I'm talking about is that there must be someone, two people must be present to attest to it that this person actually wrote this will
mm,
during his lifetime. They must be there when he's signing it, and they too will still append their signature too.
mm,
And at the end of the will, there must be witnesses. And these people must be there seeing what is going on. So that at the end of the day, when the man is no more, the woman is no more, nobody will don't just come from anywhere and say that this is what was written in his will. At least those that were there when he was signing and writing, even though he was not the one that wrote it initially, it's prepared by a good practitioner. At least they will read it to his hearing. And before someone can even write a will, that person must be of sound mind. He must be of sound mind. He must know what he's actually doing. He must know that he's transferring his property to some set of people. So someone a lunatic person cannot write a will. A
mm, mm.
lunatic cannot write a will, and that's why an infant too, like minors too, cannot write a will because at that stage they believe that they are not of age. They don't know what they are doing yet. So that's the
Mm.
major reason. So the reason for having those witnesses present while attesting to it is just that after the demise of the testator, at least those people, even if there's conflict, if maybe the wife is saying that no, my husband cannot write this, or the son is coming up with an issue that oh my father is not my father that said it was under influence. At least those people will be there to attest to it that no, I was there. And this is my signature, this is the signature of the testator. I was present during when he was writing the will. So those are the major things for a will to be valid.
Okay. Thank you so much. Somebody was asking what is the legal age. She mentioned it already. She said age 21. Say, but in some areas, like in Lagos, they allow 18 years and above to write a will. So if age 21, you want to write a will, fine. Okay, that is it. Then another person now asks, is it not supposed to be a secret when you are writing a will? Yeah, it is a secret, which is going to be between your legal practitioner and one or two persons that you trust, maybe your very close friend, your very, very close friend, that if anything happens, is the next person they will ask that Enobi Lagbaja, especially when you have written in your will that Molomo can become, they should share this to the child. And they will now say, "Ako possible, my father doesn't have other children, my wife doesn't have, I mean, my husband doesn't have other children." And they now say, the only person that can say to this is very close friend. Let's ask him. He should be able to know about it. So you should have one trusted person who's your very close friend, your legal practitioner. Maybe your practitioner too brings one of his somogbe, like one of his colleagues, or maybe people working for him at the office. But she said minimum of two people must be able to witness, and maximum of four people, and that is it. Especially when we have to do about so many properties and stuff like that, and stuff. So he's not talking about you bringing your wife to know about it, or maybe you bringing your husband to know about it. It's supposed to be what you want to give them. While they are there, you might not be able to say what is on your mind. You understand?
That's
Yeah. So maybe when they leave, you now come back to the lawyer and stuff. I'm still coming back to that also. Then I want to ask you another question, if I may ask. Then, can a trustee be trusted? Do you
yes,
understand what I mean? Because we have seen in
yes,
so many cases when a father passes on, or the mother who has so many properties, and then they left the properties in care of a trustee. And when the children get to the age, they attain that age of adulthood, and they want their properties back. Most of these trustees, they don't, they don't release all those things. Can they be trusted? That is one. And another thing is there any law in Nigeria that if something of such happens, you can, get a lawyer, or maybe you can fight for those children, or those children can fight for themselves?
yes. That's a very good question, ma. Yes, a trustee can be trusted. And that's why under will, we have two executors. It's not just a person, it must be two, minimum of two people. So at the same time, the two of them cannot be, as in cannot be, how will I put it?
Cannot be
Two
traitors,
of them
cannot.
cannot be executors at the same time. That's why it must be two. Two executors must be present and they must attest to that will. So even if one person decides to change the whole thing, at least the other person is still alive. Then if there's any law, yes, there's a law that is backing it up in Nigeria. If there was a will and the executors or the trustees they are going against the will of the testators after his demise, you can go to court. And one major thing is about will is that will is always kept in probate court in Nigeria. It's a public document, it's not a private document. So you can keep it in your house, but there is always a copy at the probate court. Even so that after the demise of the testator, the executor will go to the probate registry at the probate court to go and fight for the properties and the will of the testator.
Hmm. That brings me to probate. So there is probate in Nigeria.
Yes, there is.
It's like we still have to expand, though. That one is going to be another topic entirely. I never knew there's probate in Nigeria. Oh God.
There is.
Wow. So we'll talk about that one some other time when we bring you over. But today strictly about will and trust. Okay, now I want to ask you another question. Okay, like in the world of today, we know what is going on. Husbands cheating wives, wives cheating husbands, some even acquiring knowledge, I mean, properties without the knowledge of the other party and stuff like that. So, is it appropriate for a woman, you know, or even a man, a spouse, to ask your other spouse about your properties? Mo lè láwọn nǹkan sí, where are your properties? What do you have? And stuff like that. Is it legal? I mean, is it appropriate legally to ask such questions?
Well, legally is not really appropriate in asking the question. he might decide to open up to you and he might decide to keep it to himself for some reason. But it's better to open up most times. It's better. So that that is if both of them are living in one accord, not in the situation of the country that we had, that this person has a child outside or has another woman out there and the other woman in doesn't even know anything or is not aware of it. So, but it's always good to open up because there are some instances whereby a lot of people have a lot of assets and properties that their family members, the wives and the children, don't even know anything about. And after their demise, is maybe those properties or those money maybe kept in some accounts and are being owned by someone that doesn't even work for it at all. It happens mostly in banks, whereby a lot of men open a lot of accounts that their wives are not even aware of. They have a huge amount of money there, and after their demise, nobody to claim that property, nobody to claim the money in that account. So the bankers or whoever that is in charge will just keep it to himself, and the families will be suffering. The families will be suffering in silence, not knowing that maybe the man has a lot of property out there and that's vanished. So that's why it's always good to open up to one spouse about properties that one has or assets.
Hmm. Thank you. But I'll still come back to Nigeria of today. Let me say the world of today, where we say you sleep an open eye, sleep in open eye. That you have a spouse doesn't mean they cannot do and undo. Right.
Yes.
Okay. Now we say if you don't trust somebody, don't go um out with them. Tí Yorùbá sọ pé ẹni tá a bá ń bá rìn ká má fura sí, ẹni tá a bá ń fura sí ká má wulẹ̀ bá rìn rárá. But there are so many instances that these days that we see tí oríṣiríṣi that after the demise of the man, a lot of things will be opening up, will be coming up. Like maybe the man has other children. In the lady's case, mostly ladies don't have other children. Mostly. I'm not saying all of them. Some too do have other children that the husband does not know anything about, and stuff like that. At least you're a lawyer, you would have seen it all. A lot, they will be unfolding themselves after the death of the spouse. Okay. But in this case, you said it is not legally, you're not supposed to ask because we see a lot of things going on social media. I don't know if it is skits or maybe they are serious. When somebody said she asked her husband for his properties, then the next thing the man moved out of the house, stopped talking to them and moved out of the house. Like it was suspicious that chauffeur pamini, when you're asking for properties. And then at the same time, you said it is appropriate for the man to get the wife involved in any property they have. But do you know in Africa, especially Nigeria, I will not lie to you, our men don't disclose such with their wives.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
one. Number one. Is it for that they don't trust? That's one. Then, secondly, even if the wife knows about it, they don't put the wife's names. They don't include the wife's name. They believe property me, even though the wife might even be the one that contributed 90% to the property. And yet they will still put it on their own name. And if anything fall apart tomorrow, they will see the woman sending the woman, you see them sending the woman out, forgetting that this woman was the one that even orchestrated the whole issues, like the whole properties and everything like that. We have seen it. I have seen it. That the woman will collect her jaw and everything. This man, when they were about to move into the house, the man just brought another monkey, say, Yawo Kekerere. So three of them moved into the house at the same time. You understand what I'm trying to say? And stuff. So what do you have to say in such, a lot of people are regretting it anyway, because most of these things ó lè jẹ́ pé ọlà ìyàwó náà ń lò. I'm not saying they do you rituals, but when there is love, when there is unity, things will be, go along, I'm a pave way for things will be opening. And the moment they delve into the other party, and then nǹkan á bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní fall apart, and stuff like that. So in this particular case, what do you think we should do? What advice do you have for men that are into shady like that? And what advice do you have for women that find themselves in such position? That
Okay, thank you very
they
much.
believe they are cheated for, for more, that man have cheated on them, and not only cheating them behind them, cheating them to their face, and that's a slap on them.
Exactly. Yes, my advice to the men is that it's of no essence to them why a woman will work all her life for you. At the end of the day, you now throw her out on the street, being homeless. Some women even become homeless. They don't have anything again. They don't have anything of their own because most of the properties they gathered was in the name of their husband. So in that instance, it's not too good. But I don't know why our so-called men out there, I don't know why they do this. Well, maybe in this Africa of in Africa, they believe that women are just they believe to treat us any way they feel like. Though that was then, but presently things have changed over the years. Though we still know that these things are still happening. But my advice to the women out there is that please and please, whenever you want to buy property, whether you with your husband, let your name be stated clearly on that property. The name
Hmm.
should be stated clearly on the two
Oh,
women especially
this
because
is
you find out that
the
most women they buy the properties in the name of Mr. and Mrs. Lagbaja, and at the end of the day, who is the Mrs. Lagbaja? Anybody can be Mrs. Lagbaja. Four women can be Mrs. Lagbaja. How do you now claim that okay, both of you are here bought this property together, or maybe you have a contribution to that property? So I do advise people when you want to buy property with your husband, write your full name. Like my own name is Damilola Oluwatosin. Okay, so I have to write it out. Say Mrs. Damilola Oluwatosin Rotimi. Then my husband's name will now be Mr. Oluwaseun Rotimi. So it will now be Mr. and Mr. Oluwaseun Rotimi and Mrs. Oluwadamilola Oluwatosin Rotimi. So that later in future, at least it's not, at least even if anybody is going to bear my two names, it's not even going to be together. It might not come first, it might not come as second. It will not
even date
be
of
in line.
birth, anything can
Even
change.
date
Yeah.
of birth and every other thing will be different. So that is why it is always advisable for women going in buying properties with men in the situation that we are in this country now. It's not too good to buy it in the name of Mr. Lagbaja. Or rather, you is either even you buy it in the name of any of your children, even if you don't want to buy it. If you want to buy property yourself, buy it in the name of your children. I think you have something to hold on to. Not that later you now go and buy property in the name of so a one man. At the end of it tomorrow, the man will now be claiming the property, or he will go and give out the property to someone else that didn't even work for it at all.
Hmm.
So that's my
Thank you.
advice for women.
Thank you. It's on two ways, oh. So even if you're a man, you want to buy properties or you want to buy
Yes.
landed property or anything, buy in both names, or you buy on your children's name. So you know that tó bá tiẹ̀ dọjọ́ ọ̀la, they will know that this is clearly spelled. My children's name is on they are on the receipt of the properties and stuff like that. Okay, now um you said we can buy on children's name, right? It doesn't matter any age.
No, doesn't matter the age.
eh, any age you can buy. Okay. Now another question is there any law backing a spouse? There's because I know we have spousal laws, lóríṣiríṣi. So that's maybe you are together for so years, and in that relationship, I mean during that marriage, I'm talking about legal marriage, or maybe customary, we adore customary also, that this man acquire all these properties and then later on they throw this woman out. Is there anything that the woman can do that she will not feel so cheated? Because at times the woman might not even contribute money per se. I have seen cases. I have a friend that told her husband that ìwọ ralẹ̀ máa kọ́lé, èmi á máa sanwó school àwọn ọmọ, màá dẹ̀ máa provide oúnjẹ. You know, that's supposed to be a mutual agreement. But in another case, see things back fall apart. And this man bought the land on his own name. So is there anything backing the women up? Like during that relationship, low acquire? Because here, even though the woman's name is not on the property, tó bá jẹ́ pé àsìkò tẹ́ ẹ jọ wà ni man yẹn achieve this and that, unless tí obìnrin yẹn, maybe you have already lured her into signing an agreement wípé I won't have anything to do with all those properties. You understand? But if it is not that case, because I have seen another man too tó kọ́wọ́ woman yẹn bọ̀wé, and then he thought things would be rosy. Later on, the woman became a registered nurse, and then she did well in her field, took a doctorate degree, to share everything. And then the man had an ailment. Láàrin méjì, this woman was begging, forúkọ mi sí kinní, said I bought it with my own earned money, and you signed an undertaking when I was giving you papers that ní ní ẹ̀tọ́ sí property mi, is my property. So this man fell sick along the line. Kò lè cope pẹ̀lú owó mortgage and stuff. Now he was now begging this woman so that they will not lose the house. Wípé kó combine pẹ̀lú òun kán jọ máa sanwó. The woman said no. I am buying my own property on my own name because I pleaded with you for years to put my name. You said no. So this time around, people were now name tagging the woman Ikani, because she already gotten papers from the man, not knowing pé ṣe bó ti bímọ mẹ́ta fún man òun. She didn't do it for free. You know, we believe we are husband and wife, but there should be that trust to some level, you know, that meaning kéèyàn má fàyè jálẹ̀ o, you know, and stuff like that, because what is going on ó lágbára gan, you know. But is there anything backing the women up in such things? Because I see a lot of women tọkọ wọn máa lówó dáadáa, we believe they are okay, they are well to do. The moment the man drops down, the family or anything, anybody takes over the properties, and then we don't see the children doing well anymore. Kò sówó school, kò sí nǹkankan. Is there anything backing women up legally? Pé even though orúkọ ẹ̀ ò sí lórí property, but yet at least the children are still entitled to.
Yes, there's a lot of backing it up in Nigeria. It's just that it's not more effective. It's not really effective, and most of our people over here don't even know that that kind of law exists. A lot of people die in silence.
Hmm.
They don't open up to people. They don't open up to people. They don't tell people what they are even going through. So in such situations, you can seek the help of a legal practitioner to work for you. Then most of the time, at least if you can prove now during the man's life, during the when you and the man were together, at least even if you didn't contribute a money, it might be physical support, it might be spiritual support. One way or the other, you were supporting that man for that man to be successful. A man is no one is an island on his own.
Mm.
Without the woman, there's no how some men will not even achieve anything if the woman was not standing at his back. If the woman was not there. So the woman should be able to open up at least. And if there are evidences that she can show, okay, I have an evidence, I have these are the things, like for instance, we raise up an issue that okay, it's like someone bought a land. Like the woman has bought a land that say, okay, you be building on it, let me be taking care of the children's city. At least for that land she bought, if she bought it in her name or that she has a receipt carrying that thing, I think it's a proof for her to say that okay, this property, I'm the one that bought it with my money. This man built on it, so he cannot claim it totally that he's the only person that owns it.
Hmm.
So
Thank you.
that's it.
Thank you. Then another question I want to ask. I'm still coming back to men, so that one is okay. Back up the women only. What if in a case that there is no written will? And this man has properties, right? In many cases like that, the family members just take over. I used to have a friend when we were younger. She got married earlier. Not that she had a child for that man. So eventually the man came back again and said, "Káwọn kúkú fẹ́ra." And the father did not allow bride price, pé ìwé ni mo ní kọ́mọ mi náà kà, stuff like that. So she had the second child in the line, and then about 8 months after the second child, the man passed on. I think he had an accident. So he had landed properties in his hometown, and he had one in Ibadan. So the family members came, took over everything. Títí dé orí aṣọ, títí dé orí aṣọ, they packed everything. Even they packed kí lorúkọ ẹ̀, gadgets in the house, video ní kíní kan ní, stuff like that. So in that case, can a woman fight for such properties? I mean, it's because of the children. The man does not have other children except from that woman. Àwọn ọmọ méjèèjì tó bí were from the woman, right? And the funniest part of it was the man was a twin. Twins, obìnrin ni kejì ẹ̀. The twin sister was even the one to front àwọn tó lọ ta gbogbo àwọn properties. You understand? So in that kind of a situation, does that woman have a say? Is there any law backing her up? Like she wasn't legally married, but she had two children for the man, and the man does not have any other child anyway. And then, mind you, there was a language barrier. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi yẹn Yorùbá ni, ọkọ ẹ̀ ò kí ń ṣe Yorùbá. You understand what I'm trying to say? So they now gave her a condition. If she wants to have access, she should marry one of the husband's younger siblings. That they have to hold her in hostage nílùú wọn. It was one of the younger ones, tó ní kó fẹ́, that came and sneaked her out láàrin òru bíi 4 a.m. tó fi wọ mọ́tò Ìbàdàn pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀, because they told her, if you're not going to marry him, they will collect the children and send you back to your father's house. So, and this man was now saying, ọmọ oṣù mẹ́jọ, the girl was still suckling. But how do you collect an 8-month-old baby from a mother? All in the name of tradition. So, but people were against him. They say, yeah, it's because of you we are fighting. He said, okay. So while everybody was sleeping, he came. He gave them transport fare. Say, find your level. As for me, I don't feel marry my brother, wife. Find your level. If they come and snatch the children from you in Ibadan, that's your luck. But me, I no get hand. So that was how she was able to escape, right? But in that kind of a situation, when there is language barrier, can a woman, I mean, there are cultural differences, can that woman fight for anything on behalf of the children?
Yes, she can. She can. A man that dies without a will dies intestate. It means that the administrative laws of the state, of the domicile of the property, should be used in guiding those properties to use in distributing that property to the wife and the children. That's the normal thing. I think most of our people are not aware of this. They don't even know that it exists. So if anybody dies intestate, as in without a will, the property of such person should be distributed, should be guided by administrative law of the domicile of such property. For instance, if the property is located in Ibadan or your state, for instance, assuming this is where the property is, and the man dies without a will, though that property should be governed by the administrative laws of Oyo State, not the laws of wherever the man comes from. And when you said the man, you said the man, maybe the man is from the east or maybe from the north. I don't know where exactly.
East,
But where the property is located, the location of that property, that's the administrative law of that state should guide the way the property should be distributed among the children and the
he had 1 acre in Ibadan. I think 1 acre and a plot or something in Ibadan. And then the other 2 or 3 in his hometown.
Okay. So in that instance, the domicile of Oyo State should the domicile of Oyo State is Ibadan, which is sorry, the domicile of the 1 acre in Ibadan is Oyo State. So the administrative laws of Oyo State will guide in distributing that property. But at the same time, customary law too comes in place. The customary law, the custom of the man too comes in place. The custom of wherever the man comes from, that's another thing. And I think in the east, there's something like maybe they have their the way they distribute their property between the son, maybe the first son is entitled to
They were the
the
children were
whole of the property.
girls. That was their only excuse. They are girls. How can girls manage properties?
So that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. The domicile, the law that is governing the location, the domicile of the property should be used in distributing such property to such children. And when they bring up a customary law, saying that maybe probably the first child. And okay, I understand from the aspect that saying that they are females, and I know too well that in the east, I think they don't usually give properties to females. So in that instance, the domicile of Oyo State will work in for that woman.
Hmm.
That will be the one they will use.
Okay, thank you. Somebody said all these legal things our guest is saying is not does not matter in Africa, especially in Nigeria. Do you think this thing stands in Nigeria? Do you think it
Yes, it does.
stands?
It does. It does. It does.
So it's
It
only for
does.
people to know their rights.
Exactly.
So if you don't
Exactly.
know your rights, you'll be cheated and cheated. Even your generations will be cheated unless you know your rights. If you know your right, there are some things. But what about you know your rights and they decide to go diabolical about it? That's another thing. And
That's
the law
another
does
thing.
not
And the
respect.
law does not recognize that. The law does not
I have seen
recognize
a case like that, that each time they go there to see the properties, they will be chased by bees. Oyin ló máa lé wọn dànù. So how do you now come back and tell the law pé oyin ló ń lé wa ń bẹ̀ o?
that. It's not their fault.
That is the
It's not their fault.
power of African magic.
Yes, yes, yes.
So may God help us. We just have to know our rights, and then to talk to our spouses, whatever you have, even though you cannot call your wife and say it, put it into writing. Don't say
That's
because you are young and stuff like that. Okay, now let me ask you another question. There are so many people that write will at a certain age and then they live up to another age, and stuff like that. How often do you think they can be renewing their will, like to rewrite wills? Especially maybe you have acquired some other properties again, or maybe as you have had more children, or maybe another wife, or in quest of life you have done some other things. So how often do you need to be rewriting your will?
well, as 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 often as you can, as often as you can. That's the best answer to it. Because if you acquire a new set of property that has not been included in your will before, it's better to add it to it. And a will can be amended, though it cannot be amended physically. It can be attached by way of codicil. It's a codicil we use in amending a will. It must be attached to it. The new set of properties that the testator has acquired must be stated, and the way he wants it to be distributed must be stated also. So it must be hand in hand. So it is always good to always update it regularly, because anything can happen at any point in time. You might say,
Hmm,
okay, next week or next year, I will update it. And when God says it's time, who are we? There's nothing we
hmm,
can do. So it's always
hmm,
good
hmm.
to do it on a regular basis. To always cross check. When you have a new property, always include it in your will.
Hmm. Um, we says how many people are writing will nowadays? That is the ignorance of it. That we don't know what we are supposed to do.
Yeah.
Ayé ti dayé oní documentation. Everything has to be documented. Everything has to be documented. At times, there are some things you look like shown necessary. They are necessary because when the time comes, you will know they are necessary. And one thing about us Africans, right? We believe because this is what we have been doing before, and then um, that gives our men mostly the chances of doing some things that are not legal, right? If as a woman, God lifts me up and I am well to do, I have more money than my spouse, right? Normally, the spouse will want to know what and what I have. But in my own case, if it were to be the other way around, the man will not want me to know everything he has. It's not supposed to be like that. That's why I said marriage should be on trust. It's somebody you trust. If you cannot trust the person, don't go for him or her. That is just it. And when you see that this person is so much into nkwaye, afiaye, properties, this and that, then you will know you are not on the right path. Then you can say you want to do some things in a shady way, but there's no how you do it. We have seen wives building houses without the knowledge of their husbands, and some they will even pack to the house. They will convince the man, and you'll be paying house rent to the same woman. Yes, I have seen it. There was one day I watched a documentary. The woman said when they were younger, they were both contributing money. So by the time she had her third child, the man went and married the new wife and brought her to the house. So since then, she made up her mind that I'm not going to contribute to that house anymore because it's no longer my house. It is our house now. So she started, she said the first time she told the husband, "Èmi náà fẹ́ ralẹ̀." The man said, "Oh, I know people. What do you know about land? Bring the money." The man collected the money. He bought another land in his own name, pẹ̀lú owó mi. You understand what I'm saying? So the woman said the moment she realized that, she did not even fight him. She didn't even ask him. The man will now say, "Ilẹ̀ tó rà, you are not going to upgrade it." And I said, "I don't have money yet." When the woman stumbled on the receipts and the documents and found out that the man bought it on his own name. So you still want me to help to build. So this woman went behind the man. She bought a land and she started building it. Said the land where they are was a plot and some. Then the other one was a plot too. But this one she now bought for herself was about 3/4 of a plot. It was not even up to a plot. But she was able to manage it and build 3 bedroom on it. So she said by the time their first child was about 20, he was already in the university. No. The man did not bring money to send the boy to school. So she was always asking, "Oh, this and that, me. I have to do this, I have to do that." And meanwhile, this woman found out that this man was building that house. So OTC foundation in the quest of years and everything. So this woman never has, she said she decided not to ask any question about the land or the house anymore. So they were both staying there. Say, she now found out that the man was about to move to the other house with the another. Meanwhile, he had already married the third one. Or the third one. Let's see the other house. The woman said she didn't say anything. She went to her cooperative and collected loan and speed up, her own place too. So the man just came like a shocker to the woman that ìyá alágbájá, Ọlọ́run ti ṣe, you have another wife and but so that there won't be any quarrel and this, I will leave you and ìyá Tamedo here. So I'll be moving to the new place. Tọ́lọ́run ṣe fún mi. And so the woman said she had been waiting for that day. So she had a ready-made answer. She now said, "It's good as you have said it, but let's say it in the presence of everybody." So now said, "Thank you, our husband. At least, joy, this and that." I want to ask in the presence of everybody, that land that you have just built, ṣé wọ ló rà? Man said, òṣìwò nìyẹn, ó mọ lọ́ọ̀yà mi lójú gbogbo ẹbí. and stuff like that. Say, this house we are living in, ṣé wọ́n nìkan ló ní? You went and brought another woman. I did not see anything. You brought the third one. I did not see anything. Now, ilẹ̀ tí mo fún ẹ lówó kó rà, you bought it on your own name, and you are now telling me that you are moving to the new house tí Ọlọ́run ṣe fún ẹ. Have you forgotten that several times you have asked me, ilẹ̀ tó rà nǹkan ṣó ní contribute? You know how many times I've asked you to take me to that land? You took me there once, you showed it to me, but did you show me the document? Nothing. Èmi rí document inú ilé o, mo rí pórúkọ ẹ ló fi rà. Òun lèmi náà ṣe gbọ́gbọ́n obìnrin. Èmi náà ti parí ilé mi o. Bó o ṣe ń lọ lọ́la, èmi náà ń lọ ilé mi lọ́la. Say, the man said, tí wọ́n bá bí ẹ̀dá káwọn ọmọ say, which àwọn ọmọ? The children you are sending to school? Àbí the children that are old enough to make decisions on their own? And the last one was already 18 or 19. So they can choose where they were. Tẹ́ bá fẹ́ dúró, ẹ dúró. Ẹ bá fẹ́ tẹ̀lé bàbá yín, ẹ tẹ̀lé. Èmi ń lọ lọ́la. And that was how this woman moved. And then when she was telling that story, she said because she did a housewarming, so people were now congratulating her. She now said, even this house wasn't that house, that she had already moved away from the house níbẹ̀ yẹn. Another one tó tún wá ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ kọ́ lélẹ̀. So making the second house fún obìnrin yẹn. So they were now asking her pé ilé tọ̀hún kọ́ sí ọmọ tá a bá kọ́ lágbélé tá a kọ́ tà. The woman she left there with her children sold the house without the knowledge of the father. So ibi tí màá yẹn wà ń báyìí, that's the only property he has. Ṣé you understand what I'm saying? I am saying this because I want us to be learning as humans. Tó bá jẹ́ ìyàwó ẹ ló gbẹ̀yìn tó lọ kọ́lé, what do you do as a man? Is there any law backing men also? Tí ìyàwó wọn bá kọ́lé láì jẹ́ kí ìyá ọkọ wọn mọ̀. You understand? Maybe kò sí jà o, and maybe the man is not doing any shady stuff. And you now suddenly find out that your wife built a house. Is there any law backing the man up in case if there's any issues? That's one, because there was law backing the women. Now, ṣé òfin wà náà tó back ọkùnrin tí anything bá ṣẹlẹ̀ tíyàwó ẹ̀ kọ́lé láì ṣe pé mo pa ẹ̀? Ìyẹn bẹ́ẹ̀. Then number 2, tí obìnrin tó bá in this kind of a situation, like you feel cheated and then you now go about and build another house for yourself, is the woman justified? You see the questions now. Is there any law backing the man tíyàwó ẹ̀ bá kọ́lé láì sòfin, tí ò dẹ̀ sí jà, tí ò sí tà, tí anything bá wá ṣẹlẹ̀ along the line? And then secondly, tí ọkùnrin bá yan obìnrin jẹ, tọ́lọ́run wá padà gbé obìnrin yẹn sókè, and the woman now later built another house, right? Is the woman justified?
This question and a technical one. Well, I don't know of such law that backs up the man. I don't know of such law. I don't know of it. It might be, but I don't know of it. Presently, I don't know. But what I know is that everybody has the right to own a property of his own, and you might decide to disclose it, and you might decide not to disclose it for personal reasons. So, and the other woman that did that, she has a purpose for doing that. It's not as if it's her own personal wish from the beginning. It's the man that taught her to go and do that one. And if she had not done that, she would have been left out in a place and she would have been suffering. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't say what the woman did is bad, and I will not say it's still right. Both sides. But if she had not done that, where would she have fall back to? That's it. She had not done that, where would she have fall back? And on the man side, if it was to be a man too, that's why I said this our African this African part of the world where a lot of things are happening that is
That is
it's
not
too much.
favorable to the
It's
women.
not favorable to the women at all, at all, at all, at all. At least the man has the right. Okay, everybody in the society believes a man has the right to own the property. Why can't a woman own the property as well? Why will you deny me of owning my own property? If I feel like telling you, I can tell you. If I feel like not opening up to you, I can hold it to myself. Depending on the mutual relationship, everything boils down to trust, like you said earlier. Everything boils down to trust and the kind of person you are dealing with. There are some men that when they are even aware of their wife owning a property and they are happy about it. But I don't know, most of majority of African men are not happy. They are not always happy when it
Or
comes
they
to that
start
aspect. They are not
talking,
always
orí mi ló ń lò, star mi ló ń lò.
exactly, exactly. They are not always happy. And I don't know. At least it's high time that our men get to know that okay, a woman too, she has a right to as a woman. You have a right as a man. A woman too also has a right to own property of her home. She has the right to get property for herself.
Somebody is asking, says, but how can the second wife sell off a property that didn't belong to her? See, one thing I want us to know that men, when they are trying to chase another woman, there's nothing they don't
Can
talk
do
about. There's
anything.
nothing they don't say. You that you are the first wife, you are the only one in the dark. Àṣírí ẹ̀ wà ń tà. They have told her everything about you. Maybe he didn't even
Exactly.
tell the woman pé àjọ nílẹ̀ ni. But the landed property, I mean, when they see that they are able to lay their hands on the documents and they find out that orúkọ ọkọ ló wà ńbẹ̀, kò sí tìyálé ńbẹ̀. So how would they know bóyá wọ́n jọ ṣe ni àbí wọn ò jọ ṣe? And they can even lure the man into ṣe mi Nàìjíríà la wà. No. You know a lot of things happening. They can even jazz the man, even without jazzing the man. Tó bá ti rẹ́nìkan kọwọ́ bọ̀wé, náà ti gbalẹ̀. And many people don't know their rights. That is just it. So they believe pé a lọ sọ lọ́dọ̀ olórí ẹbí. That is the only thing. Olórí ẹbí is human. Olórí ẹbí can take sides. Olórí ẹbí can favor some people, and not favor the other party. Olórí ẹbí is not the law. So it is what àgbàdídà rẹ̀ ó fi rẹ́yàn jẹ ni. So olórí ẹbí can rẹ́yìn jẹ. So you might not even be satisfied with whatever the Olori Ebi says. So is it not Africa? We know what is going on, unless we want to pretend. That is just it. So yes, they have known already that women have, this generation don't value marriage again. I know a lot of people, that's why they don't get married. They just bunk up together and start living together. So when things now fall apart, and it's not supposed to be like that. Báyẹn kọ́ la ṣe ordain marriage láti bẹ̀rẹ̀. It's supposed to be ìyá gbọ́, bàbá gbọ́, ẹbí gbọ́. Everybody will have to have a hand in it. So now that you know your rights, you know that there are laws backing so many stuff up. And at times, even if you don't know, ask questions. So now the question I want to ask you, is it necessary for somebody to have a legal practitioner like let me just say like kéèyàn to have a lawyer? Yes, to have a lawyer. Apart from even around wills and stuff like that, ṣó wà okay kéèyàn ní lawyer? I'm not saying to have a lawyer friend though. Like, okay, mo ní lawyer, I have a lawyer that if anything happens to me or anything, I can talk to the lawyer, then àti bí òfin mú. Is it appropriate? And if it
Of
is,
course, it's appropriate.
at what age lèèyàn lè ṣe?
It doesn't have to be. There's no age barrier for that. Anybody can have a lawyer. And the reason why you're having a legal practitioner is not just because I want to write a will or because I want to buy a property. It's just for other reasons. Anything can happen at the point in time that you need someone to talk to. You need someone to enlighten you on some areas. So when you have a legal practitioner you can walk up to, the person will be able to open up to you and enlighten you more on that aspect of law where you don't even understand. We've seen we've seen situation whereby some people personally they will just want, I want you to be my personal lawyer. There's nothing I want to just so that if any issue comes up, you handle the matter for me. So there's nothing bad in that, and there's no age barrier to that. Anybody can have his own legal practitioner.
So anybody, there's no age barrier. Anybody can have a lawyer where you talk to and stuff. Then, if you are taking up a new business, do you have to involve a lawyer? Ó tẹ̀ jẹ́ business kékeré, kò ń ṣe big deal.
Mm. Yes, you have to. It's better to always involve a lawyer, no matter how small the business is from the beginning, no matter how small it is. Because a lot of people are fall into they fall into wrong trap by going into business with a party. At the end of the day, probably there was no written agreement between them of what to transpire, of how of how things should be shared between them. So if there was if a lawyer is involved from day one, at least there should be a lawyer will be able to prepare a legal document to guide that business or that agreement to that contract between the two parties. And so if anything goes wrong, this is what will happen. Whether you want to go to court or you want to settle it out of court
Out of
via arbitration or mediation. So anyhow you want to do, at least they should be. It's always advisable when you want to go into any form of business. Don't say the person is my close friend or the person is my blood brother or because I know the person very well. What a lot of things are happening nowadays that is dangerous, very dangerous. And a lot of people lose a lot of money in that area. A lot of people lose a lot of money because there is no written agreement between them. They didn't say the way they want the the company to go on. They didn't say how they want to divide their share in the company. So when things like this that comes up, a lot of people don't know what to do. But from the initial, assuming they have a legal practitioner that has written a contract agreement, if they've entered a contractual relationship, which is written, at least you have something to fall back on. So if anything happens later, at least you have something to show for that okay, this was the agreement between both of us, this is our agreement, this is what we decided to do, this is what we want to do, and this is it. So it's always advisable. It's always advisable.
Hmm. Okay, now he's asking if I have a lawyer now, will they be collecting money monthly or anytime I need their services?
Mm, well, Eh, it depends. We have different aspects of it. If you want to be paying the person, you might be a lawyer can be you can get a lawyer for most instances when you have a lawyer, especially for people that have businesses, they do pay their lawyer. Some of them pay them monthly, some of them pay yearly. It depends on the agreement between you and the lawyer. It's the agreement between you and that particular lawyer. Whether you have to be paying him monthly or you have to be paying per year. And you have it's the lawyer that will now say, okay, this is my charges. Then you reach at least
An
you
agreement.
reach an agreement. Exactly. You reach an agreement. You reach an agreement.
Hmm.
So it's not in all cases anyway. Not in all cases.
Okay. But at least the most important thing is to have a lawyer. It's not when something happens that you start running helter skelter and be looking for one. Okay. And then another question is, sorry, another thing I want to just add that when you are going into any new business or anything, make sure you involve a lawyer and you have written documents. What about people that doesn't know how to read and write and they want to do business?
Yes, they can. That's why we have a space in an agreement that involves for a jurat, illiterate jurat, whereby you interpret to them in the language that they understand before appending their signature. So even if the two parties they don't speak the same language, at least you get an interpreter to interpret to the other party that okay, this is what we are doing though. Whether it's a Yoruba man or a Hausa man, you interpret to him and you have to state it. There's always a place that's why we always leave a juror when writing an agreement when you know that the person is an illiterate. Illiterate juror is always inclusive. So whereby you explain to him in the language that he understands before the person can attest his signature in such documents.
Okay. Let me ask her another question about the trustee. When the trustees are handing over the properties to the beneficiaries, so how do I put it? are they also going to be witnesses to that, so that they will say that ó ṣojú yín o, mo ti kó gbogbo, and stuff like that. I've handed over everything to these children. Are there going to be witnesses also?
Yes, I think there should be witnesses. There should be
Okay,
witnesses.
what if
That's why I said from day one. Apart from the trustees and the executors, we have witnesses too that attest to that will. Apart from two executors or two trustees, from the one when the man is writing, probably if it's a will or a trust, at least two witnesses must be present that they will append their signature to. So those witnesses, if they are still alive, too, they should be present. They
that's
should be
what
present.
I want to ask you. What if, okay, the man thinks or thought is going to go before the trustee, and the trustee now dies before the man, and the
Yes,
trustee did not keep the documents where his own family will see. They now think is the rightful owner of those properties. What do you think?
it's not ideal for a trustee to keep a document whereby where the testator cannot have access to it.
Okay.
That's why, for instance, for will, that's why it's always advisable to keep a will in the probate registry or with the legal practitioner that wrote the will, or probably in the register box in a bank. At least there should be someone. You cannot be the only person that will know where that will is. That's why we have two executors for it.
Shey today
That's why we
that
have
they will
two.
say the bank got bonds and everything in the bank go hammer shake go, that the bank got bonds and everything got bonds
Yeah,
with it.
that's why it's always advisable. Even if one of the will, you should have copies. At least the testator will have a copy of his own.
Like how
He
many
might keep it
copies?
in the house. The lawyer should have a copy.
Mhm.
There will be one at the probate registry. Then
Okay.
the testator might decide to keep one to himself if he knows that his house is safe.
It's
If you
safe.
know there's a way he can keep it in his house, that at least maybe if it's someone that has several wives or several children,
Ah,
there will be it won't come up that okay maybe one person stumble on where you kept it in his house and I say that ẹfun lágbájá ní ilé báyìí èmi ẹ̀fẹ́ mi ní kankan àbí ìyá mi lè fún ẹ̀ fún ìyá ilé all those things like that. That's why most people don't like keeping it at home. That's why they keep it to their legal practitioner. And that's why most times it's always kept in probate registry to avoid all issues like that.
mhm. Hmm, that is good. So at least I know we have learnt one thing or the other, to be able, you don't have to wait until you are old or aged before you can say you want to write a will. You can do it as early as possible. And then, what if the person does not have landed property? Could any moto? Shoshile kowu.
Whatever you have, you can write will. Whether clothes, whether jewelry, whether money, whatever you have, they are all assets too. They are properties too. It's not necessary you have to be a land. It's not necessary you have to be a car. It might be jewelry, it might be whatever anybody, whatever asset, no matter how small the asset is, it's always good to have a will backing it up.
Okay. What if mo bere ni o? Can somebody inherit debt? Bóyá ó ti jẹ gbèsè lẹ̀, and then
Yes.
can they inherit debt, and do they have to pay?
And yes, of course, they have to pay. They have to
Kí
pay.
bàbá lọ jẹ gbèsè lẹ̀ nìyẹn o.
They have to pay. I know they have to pay. For instance, for someone that wrote a will and he has a lot of property and probably he has some debt he has to cover, before they can even do his burial or carry out any other thing, they have to pay off his debt. It's not the remaining money or assets that now remains will now be distributed. And if there's nothing, no partying, there's nothing, there's nothing to get.
That is probate. We are coming back to that. We will talk about that some other time because that one too is another aspect that has to do with litigation and stuff. Oh, long gone. So, thank you so very much, my dear beautiful sister. I really appreciate you. Thank you. I'm impressed. Thank you so very much. So now I want to ask you: are you open to writing wills for people, or are you open to being people's legal advisor?
Yes, I am.
You are. So why I'm asking, in case if there is anybody that wants to do that, please seize the opportunity. Her name is Damilola Rotimi on Facebook. You can go to her messenger and link up with her. Then she's residing in Ibadan presently. And then is there a boundary to your maybe jurisdiction? Maybe you have to practice solely in Ibadan or anywhere in Nigeria?
I can practice anywhere in Nigeria.
Anywhere in Nigeria. That is it. So I've heard that in case you want her, you want to use her, you want her to help you do one or two things legally. You know, they are lawyers, they go about with documentation. Gbogbo tó o bá sọ, wọ́n máa kọ́lé, wọ́n máa kọwọ́ bọ̀wé. So be ready. And our charges are not too high, please. Let her know you are from Thoughtful Events, you get a discount. Yes. I am really impressed. I am really impressed. Thank you so very much, my beautiful sister. I really appreciate you. Thanks for honoring the call. Thank you for enlightening us on so many things we don't know about. And I know everybody, we are charged up now. We know what to do at Imotwati Musibai. We'll be able to act fast. We don't have to wait until someone dies or maybe Epa Oboromo we now say we want to do this and that. God will help us. Thank you so much. God bless you. My regards to your husband for releasing you to us. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. You are free to drop. Okay. Thank you, my wonderful people. Thank you. I really appreciate our guest. Please say one or two words of encouragement and appreciation to her. Write down. Her name is Oluwa Damilola Oyeniran Rotimi. Please write down something for her. I really want you to. Yes, I'm really encouraged. I'm impressed. A lot of things are changing in Nigeria now. So we have to take up with it and act fast. Ẹ má jẹ́ àdúró dìgbà tí nǹkan kan bá ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wa ká tó ní à ń kọ wíìlì àbí à ń ṣe trust at any age, whatever you have, ìbáà jẹ́ pants and bra náà ló ní, you want to will it down for your children, write it down. Ìwọ ló ṣáà ní ogún ojú ẹ ló fi rà á. Ìbáà jẹ́ gold, ìbáà jẹ́ anything. Just make sure you document what you're supposed to document. Kọ́ má gbé nǹkan gbẹ̀yìn ẹ kọjá. So many children are languishing and because àwọn òbí wọn ò ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe lójú ọjọ́. Nobody can say this is the time he or she is going. Nobody can say that. It is only God that knows that. So that is why we have to be in preparations for all this stuff. It doesn't have to do with age or gender. Thank you. So thank you so very much for having us today. This has always been brought to you by Thoughtful Event. Go to our Facebook, go and add us there. Once you go to the search button, it will bring it out 1 and 2. Thoughtful Events, then the other one, Thoughtful Event 2, which is Reality Corner. Please join. We have a lot of goodies coming your way in 2024 by the special grace of God. Thank you so very much, my wonderful people. El Nino, are you taking notes? Thank you. We really appreciate you. And we thank you. Yes, ma. Thank you so very much. God bless you. We meet on Monday by the special grace of God at 7 p.m. Nigerian time and 1 p.m. American Eastern Time. We'll meet when we'll be discussing about one new topic by the special grace of God. I'm coming into your inbox. Yes, you. I've written down your names. We'll be talking from the inbox. We are bringing so many people this year. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀ hide ẹ̀ ń bọ́ ta lọ́dún yìí. A máa gbójú yín síta. It is well. Thank you so very much. God bless you. I still remain Oluwabi or Abid Busi. Love you. Have a wonderful weekend.